the morning sun rose slowly over the red hills of Umueze, painting the sky with gold and pink. Birds sang from tall palm trees as smoke rose gently from clay kitchens. The village was waking up with cock crows, laughter, and the rhythm of pounding mortar. In one quiet corner stood a small mud house with a roof made of dry grass. It belonged to Obinna, a humble farmer whose hands were as hard as his heart was kind. He lived there with his only child, Kamsi, a girl whose life began with both tears and hope. Her mother, Ebele, had died the very day Kamsi was born. The women of Umueze cried when they heard the news. "Ah, the child came but the mother went. What a cruel exchange," they said. But Obinna held his baby close and whispered, "You are my sunrise, Kamsi. I will raise you with my sweat and my soul." From that day, father and daughter became inseparable. She followed him to the farm long before she could hold a hoe. She would carry tiny calabashes of water and sing little songs that made her father laugh. "Papa, the corn will rise, the yam will swell, our farm will shine, and all will be well." Obinna often stopped his work to smile and say, "Kamsi, your voice is sweeter than the flute." As the years passed, Kamsi grew into a fine young woman. Her skin was dark and smooth like wet earth after rain. Her laughter was soft, her steps graceful, and her heart pure. By the time she turned 21, suitors began to flood Obinna's compound with palm wine, yams, and kola nuts. "She is a blessing," the elders would whisper. "Whoever marries her will never know sorrow." But Kamsi always bowed her head and said quietly, "Papa, I'm not ready. My heart has not chosen."
The village began to gossip. "Is she waiting for a spirit husband?" Some women laughed. "Maybe she wants to marry a king," others joked at this dream. Kamsi ignored them. She longed for love that was real, not one bought with gifts, but one that spoke softly and stayed true. One market day, fate came walking. The air was filled with shouting traders and laughing children. Kamsi was arranging her fresh tomatoes when a tall man entered the market. His name was Chidi, a businessman from the city who had come to Umweze to buy land. He was calm, confident, and dressed neatly in a white shirt. He noticed Kamsi immediately, not because of her beauty alone, but because of her kindness. He watched her hand vegetables to an old woman who had no money. "Take it, Mama," she said gently. "Feed your children." That single act touched him deeply. He asked a bystander, "Who is that young woman?" The man laughed. "That's Kamsi, daughter of Obinna, the one who has refused every suitor." Chidi smiled quietly. Maybe she was waiting for me. From that day, he found reasons to visit Obinna's farm. He helped them plant, carried baskets of cassava, and laughed easily with them. Kamsi noticed he wasn't like other city men. He walked with his hands, spoke softly, and treated her father with respect. Slowly, her heart began to open. One evening, under the orange sky, Chidi turned to her and said, "Kamsi, from the moment I saw you, I found peace. You are light in a noisy world. Will you let me walk beside you in this life?" Her cheeks flushed. She smiled shyly for the first time and whispered, "Yes."
Their wedding filled Umweze with drums and dancing. Women sang till their voices cracked, and elders blessed the union with joy. Kamsi's father wept proudly. "My daughter has brought honor to my house," he said. Kamsi moved with her husband to the city of Enugu. The house was big, the lights bright, and life seemed like a dream. For a while, happiness filled her days,
But 3 years passed, and no cry of a baby filled their home. Doctors could not explain it. Pastors prayed, and prophets prophesied, but nothing changed. Kamsi's laughter began to fade. Chidi tried to console her. "Don't cry, my love. I married your heart, not your womb." But his family saw things differently. His mother shouted, 3 years and not even a single child? What kind of barren woman did my son bring into this house? Her sisters joined, mocking and insulting Kamsi. They tore her wrapper once, and some days they refused to eat her food. She cried silently every night, wishing for the peace of her father's small mud home. Then one morning, she packed her bag with trembling hands and returned home. Her father's beard had turned grey, but his smell still carried warmth. "My child," he said, "the earth never forgets, but it also forgives." The next day, they visited Maduka, the village seer. His eyes were old but sharp. Before Kamsi could speak, he said, "Your womb is tied, not by sickness, but by your own hand." Kamsi's heart pounded. "By my hand? What did I do?" The seer's voice was calm but firm. "Many years ago, when you were a child, anger led you astray. You buried a hen and her chicks alive because they scattered your yam mounds. The spirits of life remember. You buried life, and now life refuses to grow inside you." Kamsi burst in tears. The memory flashed before her eyes. She had been 12, tired and angry. The hen had destroyed her work, and in her childish rage, she had buried it alive. "I was just a child," she wept. "The earth knows no child," the seer replied. "But there is mercy. If you return what you buried in anger with honor, life will return to you." He instructed her to prepare food, dance, sing, and bury a hen and her chick with peace in her heart. The next morning, the entire village gathered. Some came to mock, others to watch. Drummers began to play softly as she sang, "Forgive me, mother hen. Forgive me, little chick. I buried you in anger. I return you in peace." Her cousin Amarachi, full of mischief, danced beside her, making funny faces that lightened the mood. Laughter and tears mixed in the air. When it was done, a strange peace filled her heart, like a heavy stone had been lifted from her chest. That night, she slept without tears for the first time in years. A month after returning to the city,